Welcome, everybody, in person and on Zoom. We're glad to have you here to talk about the Business Administration PhD program here at the Saunders College of Business. It's a little open house information session. My name is Rich DiGiordi. I'm actually the chair of the management department here and the PhD committee representative for the management department. And I have a couple of colleagues here. We're going to have a quick introduction of the program, what it looks like, the structure of it, the idea behind doing a PhD. So the program goals, you can sort of see a brief outline here. It looks more daunting than it is. I'm going to go relatively fast. By all means, please put a question into the chat. If as I'm going over something comes up and you want to get further elaboration, I'll try to monitor the chat as I go and elaborate if I can. But if not, other people will monitor it to make sure that we're getting to it. So with that, we have PhD program. So the person who normally gives this talk is the Associate Dean of Graduate Programs and Research, and she talks about making sure we set expectations. One of the things we always like to make sure we do is make people aware that a PhD program it's a very significant undertaking. It's a very, very rewarding undertaking, but it is a significant undertaking. And it is, our program is not one to be done while working full time or things like that. There are other programs that can let that happen. That's not what this program is. So she puts up this quote, completing a PhD is a long, hard road with many potholes and washed out bridges along the way. I think that gets at the point that it's not going to be a straight line. You may run over some landmines and have to stop and turn around and explore the routes. But if you're driven enough, if you care enough, if you are curious enough, it's going to be fine. So I'm not going to read the whole quote, but we do like to sort of start with the idea that it is, I don't know why I can't get this to, there we go. So our PhD program goals get students ready to conduct research to solve, or at least move towards solving, novel and complex business challenges, and to pursue careers as faculty members at a research university, right? So some programs are much more designed towards preparing people to be at teaching universities instead of research universities. Our program is very much geared towards a research focus. And then who should pursue it? I think I already mentioned this word, curious. Pete, you have to have a passion and a thirst to sort of figure these things out. Otherwise, this is too arduous of a journey. If you're not innately satisfied by that, it's probably not the right match. People who are tenacious, resilient, who can, work through, and you will encounter obstacles, but want to, pursue it and willing to sort of get back up and try again and dust off and back up and try it again. And then enjoy reading and writing. And that's very much true. When I was going through my PhD program, every week there was a mantra about what's your job? You're writers. You write. This is what you do, you write. So if you like to write, that's great. You need to read a lot in order to write a lot. So they go hand in hand with that. So it's very much the products that we try to produce out of the program and now as faculty members are scholarly writing that explains stuff or ask good questions sometimes, just doing that. But it is definitely very, very focused on reading and writing. And so you need to be tenacious and curious, but you have to be able to turn that into an artifact that's a written artifact. Now, at Saunders, our experience is shaped in a very specific way. So the first thing about it, I don't know where I should look. The first thing about it is that it's very much an apprenticeship model, which is to say that you come in and you basically end up pairing up with one or two or whatever faculty members to learn by being an apprentice. So you will work with them. You'll be a research assistant for faculty members. You'll do your own research under faculty members' guidance. So it's very much an on-the-job training, a very realistic, we hope, job preview for what it's like, so you really understand what you're getting yourself into. We have a lot of interest in interdisciplinary research here at Saunders. That applies both to different disciplines within the college. So we have finance and accounting and management and marketing and digital transformation. And so some of that is interdisciplinary, but also we're a business school at a technical college. So we have opportunities for interdisciplinary research if you're interested in, for instance, it's sustainable management. We have the Golisano Institute for Sustainability. They have a PhD program. So you might end up working with somebody over there on something that's got a management focus and a sustainability focus. These people can speak much more about the collegial and vibrant research culture at Saunders. I'm relatively new, but it is one of the things I can say, having been to other places, is it is an extremely collegial environment. All the faculty support each other. We're very helpful with helping out other people's students, all that sort of stuff. I'm teaching right now, even though I'm in the management department, I'm teaching a course for the PhD program that's actually listed in the MIS Marketing and Analytics department. But I teach it. So we do all that sort of stuff. So it's a very collegial environment. You will like being here, hopefully, and that's good because you'll be here a lot. And then just sort of as a marketing point, I guess, more than anything else, we just had a huge expansion of our building, basically doubled the size. So the room we're in right now is part of that expansion. But in addition to that, we created some labs and other things. This probably applies a little less for you, but it's a great sort of indicator of how growing the business school is. And so getting in at a time when there's as we're growing and expanding is a really good thing. Now, there's a lot of PhD programs out there. Saunders has a particular thing. I said we're a business school in an engineering and technology school. So we really are interested in business challenges and trends that are related to technology or technological advances, because our sort of mission, our motto, as it were, is at the intersection of business and technology, and that goes.
That's just me. That's just me.
Oh, and then we can take advantage of the fact that we do have, the Golisano State, a great College of Engineering, all these sorts of things, to focus on things like innovation, technological innovation. That's an area that we have a particular strength in. We're known across the country for that, maybe across the world. And we have, 3 areas of specialization in the program. And I'm going to not talk for a second, but we have one PhD program, it's business administration, but we have basically 3 tracks that you can choose from. In the order they're listed here, management strategy and innovation is the first one. It's housed in the management department. We have made that very broad because strategy and innovation basically cover everything, right? I shouldn't say that, it doesn't cover everything, but it covers a lot of business applications. Somehow strategy comes into pretty much everything. Now it's broad in terms of it's on that side about strategy, the people side of management, all that sort of stuff, and innovation, but we don't cross tracks into the other areas. So I'm going to let the other 2 people introduce themselves and talk about the tracks. We are not recruiting for digital transformation for the fall of 2026, but we will likely be for the fall of 2027. So I will turn it over to Manlu and let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Rich. Hi, my name is Manlu Liu. So I am the professor at Saunders College of Business, and this is my 15 years at IIT. I'm the PhD coordinator of digital transformation. So I think Rich said very well. For this program, the faculties are really willing to share with our PhD students a very collegial environment. And so, you see that when you come to this environment, you will get the faculties support you and teach you, help you with whatever format. And another thing is this curriculum, as you see here, is interdisciplinary curriculum. So that means you actually can learn from all these different fields. For example, I was teaching the advanced data analytics courses. And in that course, that actually I also have the other programs, PhD students come here to learn about the specific advanced data analytics skills. So for the digital transformation specifically, we have two views here. One is management information systems, another is marketing focused. So if you look at the curriculum, we have some focused area courses here, including advanced data analytics, the social impacts of digital transformation. And then we also have the MIS theories and the perspectives and the marketing theory, and we also have innovation and psychology foundations of business research. And these courses also reflect the faculty's different field as well. So that is about the digital transformation. And also, I think I'm going to echo what Rich put in the first the sentence, talk about the PhD. So PhD role is a very rewarding journey, and it's also a very challenging journey. And I think it is really important that you need to have a strong commitment in this journey. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I forgot to do my curriculum, but I'll do it at the end. I'm going to turn it now over to Hao, who will talk about the finance and accounting track.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Hao. I'm a finance faculty member. This is my 15th year here. So our department have two domains, finance, accounting, but we know these two domains are close related to each other. So in this specific concentration, right? So when we talk about finance, essentially we mainly dealing with the financial market, corporate finance stuff. But on the other hand, for accounting, we know that's a language of business, right? You can see whenever a company want to influence the market, they need to use disclosure to influence market. That's the reason finance accounting are closely related. Now, one important changes in the past 2 decades is technology has already significantly changed finance accounting business. If you talk to your professors in finance accounting in your undergraduate program, if you talk to your alumni, you know that things are different now. So things change. How can we face these challenges? Provide solutions. That's our program goal, right? Our entire program goal. Provide solution to that. That's our roles as a future finance accounting scholars. You need to analyze the problem, ideally provide some kind of solution to this problem. So now why you come to IIT, join our department? Because we do have a lot of good scholars in our department, right? So many of our colleagues, they publishing very well. They also have already started working in this area. For example, some of our colleagues have already started work on high frequency trading issues, blockchain issues, right? Have start using the AI to analyze all kind of textual data to do the return predictions, to do the risk collaborations. So if you talk about traditional finance field, many of our scholars also publishing very well in corporate finance, financial accounting, corporate governance, and so on. You can check all of our faculty members' record. You will be able to see. Now, lastly, I want to say that I want to echo one point here is that our college is smaller college compared to something like UIUC. However, in a smaller college, you also get closer to your professors. You work together day by day, right? Day after day. So we do have an apprentice model here. So I would strongly encourage you to apply our program. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
And then I'll just sort of tie back. Thank you, Hao. In the management strategy and innovation, as I said, was sort of broad. That area is a very critical area for successful managing of businesses. We like to think, everyone probably thinks their area is the most important. So we like to think that it's sort of what ties all of it together. So in terms of our curriculum, we have 2 broad courses that are basically micro and macro organizational theory, like how do organizations function, looking inside at the people and then looking in the environment. We have a required course for strategy. We have a required course for innovation, and we have a required course for business, society, and technology. How is it that business fits into the social milieu in which they exist. So those are our required courses, and then people will specialize through the electives and particular support courses and things of that nature. So come on in. So we have a bunch of PhD students already that are in the program. This is our third year. So our most senior PhD programs are just starting their third year, which means that they went through their second year, and at the end of the second year, they did their comps. And so all of these people's names and some pictures are there, and you can probably find them on the website and their email addresses, and you could write to them and find out what they think about it. So I'm sure they will give you very honest opinions. So that's another thing. So again, back to your point, we're relatively, the point I was just making, we're a small college, and not only that, we're a small program right now. So having that small program does mean you get a little more customized, attention, and we're really looking, of course, we want to start off strong, so everyone's really invested in it. So we're looking to expand it by 5 students this next fall. Here is the, let's let this person in. Here is the general idea of the program. First 2 years is basically most or almost all, if not all, of your coursework. You can continue to take courses after that, but in the first 2 years, you'll basically do nothing but take courses, and then you'll have comprehensive exams afterwards. Immediately after that, you start your second year project, where you basically write a paper. It's a sort of, I don't want to call it a mini dissertation, but it kind of is. So it's basically, you go through the whole process once in a sort of consolidated time frame, and then you go off and do it. So it gives you a good preview of what that's going to be like. So years 3 through 5, you work on your dissertation. You might take some courses if you find you need something. You might not. You might only do that. You will also be doing some other stuff as part of your program, but we'll get to that on another slide. So that's approximately 5 years. People take some people are just go-getters and they manage to get it all done. If they come in with a lot of background and maybe some data already available and very clear focus on what they want to do, they might get done in 4. And so that's a possibility. When I got my PhD program, one of the people in my cohort finished in 4 years, in addition to starting with literally a 3-month-old and having twins during the program, and she still finished in 4 years. So that's doable. I still don't know how she did it. So that's a different story. Okay. So this is the process. There's a graduate application form. Matt will probably put some link in it's already up there, in the chat so that you would have it. So we're waiving the application fee for this fall. So you can apply online. You have to take the GRE or GMAT. And you have to have, if you're an international student, you have to have a TOEFL or one of these other tests. We have the minimums up there just to sort of make sure we're clear on what the expectations are. And then you have a statement of purpose. This is possibly the most important part of your application. We look at it, those of us who are on the PhD committee, we look at them very carefully. We read them. We're looking for things that show that commitment, that tenaciousness, and that curiosity. That's what we're looking for. We want to know that you want to come here because here you can do what you want to do and that you're passionate about it. So again, as Kyle said, you can go look up people on the website, find out what their research is, reference them. You might even write to them before you come. They won't be able to give you input because unless it's one of us, they're not on the PhD committee. But then eventually when the departments make decisions, they'll be involved in that. So by all means, put effort into writing a statement of purpose that is compelling and that really showcases your curiosity and your commitment and your interest, particularly in RIT. So for this fall, we're only admitting into management strategy and innovation and finance and accounting. But if you're ahead of the game and you're thinking about 2027, they'll presumably, we'll know for sure in a little while, they will likely be recruited in 2027. And we already have the line here, how I already mentioned it, review the faculty profiles online. There's a lot of very active researchers. If you're interested in, sustainability research, we have people that focus on just circular economy. We have people that, like Hao said, that are already doing stuff with, high trades.
I got this.
Yep, okay, yep. And then finally, so make sure you do that. Feel free to reach out to people. Faculty love making more faculty. It's one of our goals is to do that. So they are never not receptive to getting an inquiry about, oh, do you think this would think I'm interested in this, and they can help you develop a question or stuff like that. But don't ask them to, tell you how to get admitted, because that's a different process. But the curiosity is the big part there. So how does it work in terms of finances? You get paid. You have a stipend. It's about $29,000 a year. That includes summer support and time during the school year. However, for that, you also do some work. Right, you get tuition waived. You don't have to pay for the tuition. You get your stipend, but you'll be working on research projects. So some of what you'll do in this apprenticeship model is be a research assistant to one of the faculty members. So you will do research for them. Depending on how that goes and how aligned it is with your interest, you might do a lot of research. You might get really into it and bring a lot of value to it, and then you might actually end up co-authoring with them. But in some cases, you're just a person who's doing some of the research. So you run some models for somebody, right? But you're getting paid. That's how you're getting your stipend. That's covering your stipend. And then sometime in either your second or third year, you will TA a course. And then in the third year, you'll teach a course. So that's part of the stipend too. There may be opportunities to teach beyond that. We don't really recommend it because we want you focused on your dissertations. But if there were, that would be different than this, but you will teach one course as part of your stipend, and you will TA one course as part of your stipend. We also work very hard to make sure you TA the same course that you teach, so that so that you have you experience it as a TA and then you take over as the teacher. All right. Any questions on any of that? Usually money is where we get some questions. And that's it. So that's all we have. I know that we went a little longer than I had originally thought, but I think we covered everything pretty well. And now it's completely open for questions. If anyone wants to ask questions here, or if you want to on Zoom, you can unmute and just ask your question, or you can just type it into the chat and we'll raise it and talk about it.
I was hoping to hear from current PhD students about their experience. Are they available for anything? I mean, they're not here today, but future.
Yeah, we put up the names. I'll put them back up.
So reach out to them and maybe get coffee.
Oh yeah, especially if you're local. By all means, you can reach out to them. I mean, don't reach out too much. We want them focused on their work, but you can look up their email addresses on the website. And if you do that, you can write to them. And if you identify someone that you're particularly interested in, then just send me an email. I can get you their email address and I'm happy to connect you with them. I think that is actually a brilliant thing to do, is to go off and talk to them. And the good thing is you could try to talk to somebody in different processes, of their PhD. So a third year and a first year, because third years, have had more time with us and they know better. But if you want to talk to somebody in management, you only can talk to a first year, because that's all we have is first years. So
are they matched 1-to-1 with faculty, or 1-to-2, or
it?
I can share a little bit. I think it depends on the faculty member, or it depends on student. So far in the first year, when they come here, we certainly will pair them with one first year mentor. Later on, with time goes by, when they work on the second year papers, they will have a specific desk advisor for the second paper. But it's in some cases, it looks like some students also want to talk with additional faculty member to get help. So in this case, it would be more like one person, two.
Okay, one last question. I don't want to monopolize, but there's faculty that are specifically tasked with mentoring, or because you also mentioned cross-department collaboration within Saunders collaboration. Or is it like a roster of people that have said, I would love to do this? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, so the way it works in the management department, we just went through it for our first time, so it's very salient for me. I went through, we look at who we admitted, what their research interests are. And in the first year, we're not necessarily concerned with it, but I want to make sure they can talk the same language. So I pair them 1-to-1. So I had one faculty for each of the students, and each faculty only had one student, right? And so for the first year mentorship, that's the case, the way we do it. Now, like Kyle said, in the second year, after they get to know each other, it may be the case that there's some interest that converges around something, and we have one expert in it. So there might be a team that builds, like 2 PhD students and 1 faculty member. But all the faculty are told, at least in my department, to be available and supportive of all the PhD students. So just because, whatever, Ben, I assigned to Brian as the first year mentor doesn't mean that can't come to me or can't go to whoever, can't even go outside the department, because you will take classes outside the department. We split them up. So that every faculty member, no faculty member should say no to a PhD student about anything. But in terms of answering a question or mentoring or something like that. Now that's different for being like the chair of a committee or a second year project or something like that. That's a very huge commitment. They need to be aligned, and you need to be, you need to make sure that we're not overburdening any one faculty member.
And I want to add, go ahead. I just want to add one more thing. The selection between student and advisor is really a two-way communications. So the first year when you get here, the department chair give you a science of faculty. But after you stay here longer, you get to know more faculties, get to know more about research. Then it's really also students think about, oh, I'm interested in that faculty's research. I want to collaborate with them. And you can collaborate with multiple faculties for the different project, or you can choose just collaborate with one faculty. It's really based on the fit of your interest and that faculty's research area. But it takes time for the student to get to know about the faculty's research area.
Yeah, if I may, let me quickly add one thing here. So if we talk about work together on the research, right? Usually we need to meet with students weekly. Even during 1 week, students spend all the time to work on the project. This progress might not be quick enough. So that's the reason you don't really have energy to work with so many professors. I think about entire dissertation, right? Usually 2 to 3 chapters. We'll ask you to work on that for 2 to 3 years. You can do the math, right? That means, roughly speaking, 1 year, 1 paper. You don't really have too much time to work with so many different professors. But on the other hand, I totally agree with Rich that we do have a nice ecosystem here. We have different professors. You can reach out to us to discuss. But if you talk about your major professor or advisor, very likely only one.
Yeah, once you're in the program and really like into the meat of it, you'll have a mentor advisor. You'll have an advisor for your second year paper, and that will be a key person. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the same person that'll be your dissertation, but at each of those major milestones, there'll be somebody. But I think we had someone else ask.
I don't have to make a decision when I submit my application. Who is my professor?
You mean now?
Yeah,
No.
maybe I can explain this issue in different department. I don't know. As Professor Rich DiGiotti mentioned earlier, when you are admitted, and then we will take a look at your research interest, and then we will talk to the faculty member if they are willing to work with you in the first year as a first year mentor. So basically, you don't need to do anything. If you are admitted, we will try to pair with you with somebody share the common interest.
And this is where a really good statement of purpose that might draw on it. So let's say you're applying to management. I don't know if you are, but you're applying to management. You see these 3 people that do something related to what you're doing. You mention them, you talk about what you might do with them. So what'll happen is we go through a preliminary review, and then the department, or at least the faculty that are involved in the PhD program from the department, will review the applications, and people will start advocating. Oh, I think we should admit this person. I could see working with them. I could see doing that, right? And so you get sort of an internal advocate, and then you get an internal advocate. I'm like, yep, you go. You're all set. I'm all set, right? So it makes my job easier. So that's one of the reasons why that statement of purpose is just so critical, and putting a lot of work and effort into it. It's sort of like your first research project as a PhD non-student. Go research the people and reference it appropriately.
And don't be nervous, like, your first year when you get an advisor, but then, you don't have to stay with that faculty for the rest of the whole PhD program, because if you want to switch, you can, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and that probably will happen because, you know, when I got admitted to my PhD program, I had to hold a whole career as an information technology person. So I went into management because I was, you know, at higher levels of management. I liked it and I wrote a great, well, good enough to get accepted, statement of purpose about how there's a problem in the IT world where what we do is promote really good programmers to be managers and supervisors, and usually they're terrible at it, right? It's just not the same skill set, but we do it, and we've been doing it. And then I got to campus, I took my first two survey courses. I'm like, yeah, not studying that. I'm doing this other thing completely. Didn't do anything like it. So that'll happen. You'll find, hopefully we're broadening your horizons when you come here. So yeah, it could very well happen.
This is a very good example. So when you apply for the PhD program, don't put too much pressure, like you have to become an expert in this specific research. It takes time for you to really understand what is your research domain. And it might switch or change in this journey, which is very common, and which is why we have this program, PhD program, to help you to find what you're really interested in.
Right. Yeah, if you already knew all the literature about whatever, you wouldn't need the program. But what we want to see is the curiosity, right? It's really about the curiosity and sort of the systematic thinking. This is how I might do it, and this is why I'm interested in it. You know, this is the thing that's going to make me push through after I submit a paper. This happens to all of us. You submit a paper, it gets rejected. like, okay, how am I going to not take that personally and go forward with something else? So.
Right.
As an international student, I'm not sure whether does this come under STEM, because I have done my master's in business analytics. So does my credits get transferred? So how does that work?
That's a good question. So if you look at the curriculum, there's some of the elective courses which has some of the courses from, for example, from the management master in business analytics. I'm talking about the digital transformation curriculum in particular. And if that is a course is really, have that in the PhD curriculum, I think the answer is yes, right?
Let me, if I remember correctly, in an older meeting, we strongly encourage you to not waive the class, but just take additional class.
Right. Okay.
That's what I remember.
Okay.
So
all right.
Yeah, so that means that you take master level classes, right? You're done with that. We will ask you to take maybe statistics class in a PhD program there, math, something like that. Right. So that will strengthen your profile, right?
Because it's free.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense. That sounds good. Okay.
Yeah, we certainly don't want you repeating something that you've already done, but take advantage of the fact like the classes are covered in your whatever. So take advantage of the fact that you have experts around that will teach you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense because all the courses help you to build a solid foundation of the research.
One of the things that's very, very central to this particular program is that it's really geared towards help you with the techniques. So there's a lot of requirements around research methods and support area courses that's a great area. If you have a course you can waive and say, okay, well, let me take, structural equation modeling. That's one of our support area courses, our research methods course. Well, maybe you want to go further and there's a more advanced version of some, structural equation modeling offered in one of the other programs. Great, take it. So that gives you just more. The more you can do, because of course the goal is you get out, you finish, do your dissertation, you get out, you get a job. The more you can demonstrate currency, being current and having currency in like methods and the content, the more attractive you're going to be on the job market.
And I would also like to know about the GMAT. You should have a GMAT score, is it?
GMAT or GRE. That is a requirement.
When is the deadline? It's January, right?
Deadline for applying is January
15.
I believe it's January 15th.
15th.
Yeah.
So you have time. Now, if you got a different master's and you already took it, if it's within a certain amount of time, right? If they have one from like 2 years ago, they can just use that, right?
Yeah, I think
you don't have to take it again. I think it's 5 years.
I remember the 5 years should be valid.
But if your program didn't require you to take it, you didn't take it, then you do have to take it now.
Oh, so you're saying me I have to take extra courses, or will my courses be transferred? How does it work?
If you have a GRE score from 2023, it's fine. You can use that one. You don't have to take it again. unless you want to take it again,
Got it.
in which case I question your judgment.
I think I should take it, so.
Any other questions? I know there was a question in the chat about profile, like a lot of like RIT, we have a profile of like the incoming student, what their scores and stuff like that. That doesn't usually happen with PhD programs because the classes are so small. We admit 5 people a year. So advertising that kind of information sort of becomes an issue of privacy because if you only have a few people can sort of extrapolate and whatnot. So we don't generally do that. Once we have had many years of students, we might be able to come up with something like that. But in general, I don't think PhD programs generally provide that profile. Is that your understanding as well, Matt?
Yeah. We don't really provide it, the MS programs either. So. It's a very competitive process, though. We get hundreds of applications.
Yeah, well, we get over 100.
Over 100.
Yeah, so we have 5 slots. Last year, total applications were like 128, I think, or something like that. And then some of them were just eliminated because they didn't have a GRE score or GMAT score, so we didn't have to look at them. But we looked at the PhD committee looked at, I don't know, I think at least about 100 applications total. It's a lot. So. Well, I thought there was a new question. There was a new answer. Any other questions? Any other online questions that we didn't see? I think we got all the ones that were put into the chat. Any other questions for you? Nobody had any of the pizza. Oh, no, you did. You didn't have any pizza.
I'll have the.
Oh, yeah, you gotta have pizza. You don't actually get to count as attending if you're physically here and don't have pizza. If you don't want pizza, you have to come in remotely. But we don't need to keep you longer than you need to be kept. So if you have no other questions, my name's Rich DeJordy. And DeJordy is not a common name. So if you search, you'll find me, and feel free to send me emails. And if you want, I think I might even have business cards on me. I know that's so 19th century, but if anyone wants a business card, I can give you one. And I can connect you to anybody, so I'm happy to do that. And Matt too. Matt's the resource on all things logistics and and process oriented.
Oh, do you like to introduce yourself, like where you're from and what is your interest area?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you go first.
Oh, before we do that, we probably should stop the recording.
Okay.
So let me just stop the recording. I can figure out how to do that. Come on, here we go. Over here, stop recording, stop recording. And yes,